and welcome to another episode of Family Fun Force Podcast. I'm Jess.
I'm Matt.
Today we are reviewing Planet Zoo. Planet Zoo is rated E10 for everyone 10 and up for crude humor, mild violence. All right. Okay.
Eh,
Available on PC. It is a one-player single console game. Is rated 81 on Metacritic. Get you a little synopsis. Build a world for wildlife in Planet Zoo. From the developers of Planet Coaster and Zoo Tycoon comes the ultimate zoo sim. Construct detailed habitats, manage your zoo, and meet authentic living animals who think, feel, and explore the world you create around them. See, now I'm seeing mild blood and then think, feel, and explore
yeah,
from animals.
I mean,
All right,
it's all
Matt,
true.
what you got for us?
Well, Planet Zoo was developed and published by Frontier Developments. Frontier's been in the game for a while, making games such as Elite Dangerous, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, arguably the best one, Thrillville, Off the Rails, Connectimals, Planet
Connect
Coaster,
malls.
Jurassic World Evolution,
Jurassic World.
generally a lot of awesome games.
A lot of awesome sim games.
Yes, they do favor the sim type games, which is good. Planet Zoo could be considered a sim. I consider it sort of like a strategy sim. In Planet Zoo, you construct and manage a zoo. You can lay out paths for your guests. The pathing's kind of cool. You can actually stretch it out so it's not just a straight path. You can have like a big path that acts like a what would be the word for like a picnic area kind of thing?
A dining court.
Yeah, you can make like courts and stuff, and the little sim people can walk everywhere, and they really good at finding out where to go. You can build exhibits for animals, including placing the fencing. You can terraform the earth so you can make hills or ponds. You can set the foliage, and the foliage is specific, so you need the correct biome and the continent that that biome is located on to find out the correct foliage that makes your animals happy. You can build custom shelters. I was just testing out earlier. I terraformed a little cave for my African wild dogs, and they loved it, and it counted as their shelter, and they ran to it when it rained. You can also make climbing areas, so like for monkeys or jaguars or big cats and stuff that love to climb, you can build very freeform things for them to climb up. Some animals will also climb up trees, which has led to the escape of several of my animals. Through all this, you have to care for your animals as they grow old. They'll have offspring, sometimes they get sick, and eventually they'll pass away. You also have to manage the park staff. You can hire new team members, you can train and promote staff members too, and they can specialize in things. You can set your park up to teach guests about conservation and fun animal facts. I kind of wish there was more to this. There's not that much. You can add entertaining transport rides to quickly navigate the larger parks or simply have fun on like Safari Drive. There's completely custom buildings, and we're going to talk about this a lot because the custom buildings are like epic levels. And the last probably big game mechanics are weather and seasons based on the biome that your park is located on. So if you're in a North American temperate biome, you will see rain and snow and summer heat. Whereas if your park is based out in the Sahara Desert, you're probably never going to get that cold and you're not going to get a lot of rain either. So, Jess, what do you think adults would enjoy about this game?
Let me just real quick say there is a day nine cycle. Yes.
Yeah, day nights,
Okay.
yeah.
You didn't mention that. Some people care
Um,
about that thing, so I just want to
the
point that
yes,
out.
okay. There is also day-night cycles. I forgot to mention that should be mentioned with the weather. Animals do act differently depending on the time of day. Also, park guests act slightly differently depending on the time of day. But okay, Jessica, what you got?
Okay, so for adults, this is an easy to understand sim, but it has a lot to offer, as you just mentioned so much in terms of additional game modes, sharing content, and there are also expansions available.
I think I missed a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, you got some stuff to cover, but Do you have a listing of all the game modes?
So the game modes, there's the career mode, which I think it was like 10 or 12 missions. We did not buy any of the
I think it said
expansions.
15 and 20 on
Um,
the website.
that
I could be
seems incorrect.
misquoting. 10 to 15?
Unless you unlocked more, maybe. I don't know. But so there's the career mode where you advance. It gives you a nice little tutorial intro, and it was kind of fun. It had like characters that actually had personalities that made it a little
Voice acting was
entertaining.
decent.
Hmm?
I said the voice acting was decent.
Oh, I played with my audio off almost the entire
Oh,
time.
that was probably the only thing I experienced then.
Yeah, so the career mode was good, and I enjoyed the scenarios and the challenges on the career zoos. It also has a challenge mode which you can play offline because there is online modes. It's not multiplayer, but you can like share your zoos and your animals and your achievements. So yeah, the second offline mode is the challenge mode where you basically just play the career maps with different objectives. That was a little disappointing. Then there is the a freeform mode, or you can go to the online. I was just playing it not that long ago. My mind's going blank.
Okay, so you got career, you got challenge, franchise is what
Franchise,
you mean,
thank
right?
you. Yes. The franchise mode is online where you play and it gives you objectives periodically as you play. And it's almost the same as freeform, except that you get scored online. You can complete objectives which share with the community, and you can put your animals up for adoption and they can be adopted by community members, I believe. I hadn't actually tried that yet.
So career was 12 levels. So you were
Yeah,
right.
that sounds right. Yeah.
I don't know where I got 10 to 15. Must have read something else. And then sandbox. There is a sandbox.
Yes, but Sandbox and franchise are basically the same, but Sandbox won't give you any objectives, and you have
And you don't
unlimited
have any money limit.
money, and
No.
yeah.
It holds your hand through career mode to teach you to explore the other modes. There is a lot of content, but the career mode makes it easy to understand by, like I said, holding your hand, using a step by step, highlighting everything for you.
Oh, I should. You played the tutorials. You hadn't started the first career mission.
Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know how far I got.
Yeah, because the tutorials are actually. I actually thought these tutorials were very good, which is rare for sandbox games like this. But she's right. The tutorials do very much hold your hand because there is a lot to teach in a short amount of time for this game. Once you finish the tutorials, you can actually skip them if you choose. You can go straight to the career mode, but the story picks up after 4 tutorial levels, I believe. And once you're in career mode, it's like, here's the zoo, here's your objectives, here's what's wrong, and then it just goes, and it doesn't force you to do anything after that point.
What do you think about for adults? This is good for.
Yeah, I thought adults would probably like the simple but deep tool sets available to customize the park. I'm speaking about the habitat and building editor, which is insane. If anyone's played Planet Coaster, they'll be familiar with it, but they expanded on what was there. So, an example would be if you want to make, say, a restroom. If you think back to like old Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff, you would select the restroom building and you would place it down. In Planet Zoo, you would select the base for the restroom, which is just like a single block, plain as day, and it just says restroom. And then you can edit on top of that and just go bananas. It has so many different materials, so many different walls, floors, roofing. It'll hot snap floors and walls and roofs, or at any point you can turn that snap off and click and drag to put them exactly where you want. You can rotate them completely freely. You can go up and down, left, right completely freely. You can just do all sorts of crazy stuff. And going through the workshop to take a look at what people have made was just mind blowing.
Yeah, that Atlantis thing looked pretty intense. I didn't think it was for a zoo type game at all, but there it was.
Yep, someone made like a large, I guess, sort of Greek architecture, huge circular zoo, but it was more than just a zoo. It had like huge like Colosseum type pillars. It had statues. It had boats, and these boats actually looked like real boats, but the person made most of them by hand, and it was just nuts. And I think, yeah, adults alike that you can quickly slap together a building that looks the way you want it to, or you can spend 6 hours on that same building and get it to look exactly perfect. And it's really impressive. The game also has amazing graphics, and yeah, I think adults and kids would love that. The animals with fur look fluffy. Like I wanted to dig my fingers into the jaguar because it was
All
so
right,
cute.
you settle down.
The animals themselves are super realistic. They behave like you would think they would. So I was watching my African wild dogs and I gave them a toy ball and they would play with the ball. And just like a real dog, the ball went straight into the pond. Realistic. I also think adults will like the straightforward career mode. It's very short, 12 missions. At this time, I'm more than halfway through those 12 missions, and I've played the career mode for maybe 3 hours. So it's a little short, but. So, Jessica, what do you think kids would enjoy?
I would say for kids, this is, as you were just saying, visually appealing. It's a visually appealing simulator that is a bit more complex than some other games, but because the option of career mode and sandbox, I would say could be enjoyed by anyone 10 and up. Especially just the amount of information that goes alongside the animals and raising them and the realism with that. I think kids would think is really cool, especially if you got a kid who's really into zoos or like setting up their own stuff. They might be really interested in trying this out.
Yeah,
That's all
our
I
son
got.
was watching us play, and I was showing him the snow leopards, and the snow leopard laid down to take a nap, and he actually started crying, thinking the snow leopard was sick, which was really cute. But I think kids
Kitty,
like
wake up.
letting the animals escape, which is something that can either happen on accident or you can absolutely do it on purpose if you so choose.
Yeah, Matt, why don't you talk about your snow leopard escaping?
Yeah, so the first career mission I played, the first exhibit I built was a snow leopard exhibit, and I gave them some tall trees at the time, not thinking anything of my tree placement, putting them right up against the wall because they looked nice. I gave the snow leopard a shelter, and I gave them some toys, and then I went to another part of my zoo. And about 20 minutes later, I got an alert my snow leopard had escaped because it climbed straight up that tree and jumped out the wall.
Yeet.
So, lesson learned, but I managed to capture the snow leopard before it ate anybody.
Yeah, animals climb things. Did you know?
Yeah. So, kids, I know back when I played the original Zoo Tycoon, my favorite thing was to make animal fight clubs, which, again, you can absolutely do in this. I did not test it because I'm not evil anymore.
Anymore. Likely story.
Yeah. Kids will also probably just enjoy watching these animals play in their exhibits. You give animals lots of toys, or you give them like a good climbing thing. The pathfinding for these animals is crazy. When I made my African wild dogs exhibit today, I thought, wouldn't it be fun if I gave them a river down the middle of the exhibit? And at the time, I didn't know that the African wild dogs can swim. I know that now. That's cool. But I didn't know that they could swim, so I built them a bridge. And I built this bridge out of like log parts. And the pathfinding algorithm identified these log parts that were on all kinds of crazy rotations as walkable terrain for the dogs. So now they can sprint across this bridge, and as soon as I put the first one in, the first thing it did is it sprinted across the bridge into its little cave, and it was really cute to watch. So kids watching these animals being cute, adorable animals, So many of them have so many behaviors that are fun to watch. Even the animals that get kept in like terrariums, like snakes or insects and stuff, they still get simulated inside of their little terrarium, even though you can't modify it as much as you can making actual exhibits. You can still customize them, and they can still be happy or sad or get stressed or need things inside of their little terrariums, and you can watch them. So I had a rattlesnake I was taking care of in that first zoo. That was fun to watch. One of the later zoos in the career mode, there's a terrarium full of, I think it was a cockroach. And obviously, cockroaches reproduce like crazy. And it was like an actual chore keeping that terrarium from just overflowing with cockroaches.
Yeah, some animals don't eat very fast.
Yeah. Kids would also absolutely love the building mechanics. Being able to just sit down, throw down some walls, throw down some roofs, throw down some floors, run a path through it, and your people know how to walk through that building. And they, if you have shop stores and stuff, you can set them, and the people will go up to them, and it looks exactly like you would think it should look, and it functions, and it just works. It's amazing.
Well, with the generator. Some stuff needs generator work, but
Hmm?
you need a generator for some stuff to work.
Oh, you're talking about the game has an electric mechanic, so you do have to string power throughout your zoo, which is as simple as putting down a generator which has a radius that it can power, but people don't like seeing the exposed generators sitting around the zoo. So a real simple solution is to just encase it in a building so it doesn't look like a generator anymore.
And then they also generate heat, so you have to watch that too, right?
No, actually, the heat is for animals that need it to be warmer than your current climates.
Ah, but you still need to pay attention to that though.
You do need to pay attention to the temperature. For example, in my first starter zoo, I had, I'm trying to remember, I think it was the Asian, no, it wasn't the Asian black bear. Well, I can go to the snow leopards, so know that. So the first zoo was in Canada. So it's mostly temperate, but it gets cold during the winter. The snow leopards want snow year round, though, so you had to put coolers in their exhibit to keep the exhibit cool. They preferred to sleep near the coolers, and the coolers would chill the area in a radius. And if there was precipitation, the coolers could form ice and snow, and it was really cool to watch. The same is true for heaters for animals that like it really hot. So, Jess, was there anything you did not like?
What you haven't gotten to my enjoyed. I know I didn't play this much, but I can still say things I enjoyed.
What
But
did you
I
enjoy,
gotta. I
Jessica?
have a comment first. So can we go back to the mild blood and
Oh,
violence?
okay. Yes.
So
Animals
you
fight each
say
other.
you can. So it won't stop you from just dropping an animal anywhere.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Do they attack
Um,
people too, or just each
yes.
other?
And they will eat people.
Wow. Do you? Is there an option to give any animals live food, or is that literally the option by dropping an animal on there?
So the only customization you can give animals diets is by researching additional food sources, and then you set their diet regiments on their exhibit. So, for example, if you research aardvarks, first level is meat gruel, which is basically just ground up beef, I presume, with probably corn or something. I'm sure it says in the description because the game is full of information. So if you research the aardvarks to level 2, you can give them live termites.
Mm.
But you don't physically see the simulated termites. It just looks like there's termites in their food dish when the keeper fills it.
Ah. Okay. Good to know. Okay. So things I enjoyed. I personally really enjoyed the look and the wide variety of animals and building materials. The graphics are really realistic, and the information included covering animals was informative as well. It was kind of like when I was doing the, as you said, tutorial, and it's like blood pumpkin for tigers. I'm like, I know that's what they give tigers because every fall, right about this time of year, you see pictures from zoos of them giving them tigers, and tigers just going crazy for these pumpkins. So I was like, oh, that's what they actually do. That's really cool. The setup of career mode made it easy to start and understand what to do. The basic premise of build enclosure, stocking the enclosure, then adding animals was a easy concept to understand, and you add on to that by extras for the zoo to increase profitability. So it makes sense, I guess. That's kind of it. I didn't really hear the music much when I was playing it, so I can't comment on the music quality, but I did say the voiceover was decent enough. So, what did you like, Matt? Because you obviously like this a lot more than me.
Well, I like that it's a simulation slash strategy game, and I just love basically all games that are of that genre. But if I had to choose my favorite parts about this, definitely the freedom of building in this game and the way that ties into the simulation. Because most freeform builders or freeform building in these types of games gets ignored by the simulation because realistically that's the most like or that's the least intensive way to do it. So if you build in a regular game a bridge out of logs, most of the time the animals don't know it's a bridge. But that's different in this game, and I love that. I was having so much fun designing little jungle gyms for my bears and my monkeys. I normally don't like monkeys. The freeform building, extending out to the shops and basically whatever you want. So like we live near the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo, and the Cleveland Metro Parks Zoo has a really neat timber wolf. Not timber wolf. What are they? Mexican wolves? Yeah. Well, they have a really cool wolf exhibit called the Wolf Lodge, and the Wolf Lodge looks like a log cabin, but it butts up against the wolf enclosure. So you walk into the Wolf Lodge, and it has like a Native American history section, and then you go through, and there's some windows looking out into the wolf exhibit, and then there's a little aquarium, and then you leave. You could build that almost accurate, minus the aquarium, because sadly there's no aquatics. That's a little sad. But you could build everything except the aquarium in Planet Zoo, and it would be great and look almost exactly like that. What were things that you did not like?
Okay, I'm going to preface I'm not that big in simulators. I didn't play them a lot as a kid, so I just never got into them. So I don't honestly have any issues with the game, but it's just not my cup of tea. Um, Even though it was easy to understand, there was just such a vast amount of options to customize, led to a lot of windows, and it triggered my anxiety because I can't handle that much stuff on the screen. Yeah, I'm just not used to that much stuff, and it kind of just overwhelmed me. Um, so I didn't get through the tutorial. It's not like I didn't understand how to play the game. It was just like, wow, this is a lot for me to handle. And like, I'm already like two steps ahead, being like, how am I going to afford this financially and this, that, and the other? Like, it's just too much for me to manage. And I've tried like map making games in Trials and Trackmania, and I just never got into them because it was just like, oh, this is going to take more than 5 minutes of my time. I'm not interested in doing. So, I mean, as a game, I think it's good. As a game for me, nah, I just I could. Although I'll make the comment I observed from you playing, which was when you were playing outside of career mode and it didn't auto pause. I think that's a major flaw. If you don't even have the zoo open, it should be paused because yeah, you just like used all that money from being technically open and you hadn't even built a zoo yet. So I think that's kind of a flaw in the game.
Maybe we can touch on that auto pause. That's definitely a feature that would be nice. I don't know if it's in the options. I didn't actually check, which is that's my fault. I usually check options screens in games. Um, but having an auto pause when you open the building or the enclosure editors should really just auto pause the game because why would you want the game running while you're trying to put down paths or build a building or build a fence? Because if the game's running and you're trying to build a fence, as happened to me, you realize it's been 3 in-game months and you're now short $6,000 because you were only half paying attention to building your fence, and it took too long, and now you're kind of boned. Yeah, that was something I'd like to see an autopause feature. Did you have anything else?
No, that was, like I said, pretty much it. I can't complain about something I didn't like try wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I couldn't get into it enough to give it an honest go.
I'll go ahead and touch. You were worried about the money. I honestly feel like money is too easy to come by in this game. Maybe it's. I was playing on medium settings the whole time and never tried easy or hard. I had a zoo that had two aardvarks and a food court, and I was making $6,000 a month, which seems excessive for
A little
two
bit, yeah.
aardvarks and
People are
a
loaded.
food court. And people were literally giving me like thousands of dollars in donations for these two little aardvarks. I would like to see it be harder. Maybe I'll try the hard modes later and see if they are more of a challenge. Probably my biggest complaint, honestly, the career was too short, and outside of the career mode, there's no interesting maps. If you play franchise or free play, you can choose what biome and region of the world you want to be in, and that affects the weather and time of day. But it does not change the terrain. You always spawn with a perfectly flat zoo,
Yeah,
which
that's kind of icky. I
that's a
didn't like that.
bummer. It's nice that terraforming is easy to do, and it's a voxel terrain engine, so you can have holes and stuff and make caves. Not like Minecraft voxel. They're not blocks. It's not a block world. They're smooth. It's called marching cubes voxels. So they're smooth and they look nice. But yes, it is a voxel world. Really nice looking terrain. I can't reiterate that enough. But you have to sculpt all the terrain yourself, which really sucks when you want something of a challenge without having to just do it yourself. And if you're playing franchise mode, modifying the terrain costs money, which you don't want to dump a ton of money into just making nice terrain when it would have been easy for the devs to include some pre-made maps or some sort of random map generation just to give you some hills and valleys and maybe a couple ponds that you could work with, so it's like you came to a realistic zoned area for a zoo instead of like this perfectly flat thing. It was a little disappointing. What else would you like to talk about? Planet Zoo.
How many different animals did you get to
There
experience?
are a lot of different animals in this game. We barely touched on how many animals there
Who?
are.
What's your favorite animal that you tried so far?
I love the snow leopards. They are so fluff.
What about the wolf? Because
They're
you said you had a
so
boy.
fluff. There was a puppy wolf I had in my wolf exhibit that was adorable. I cannot stress enough how adorable a puppy wolf is. I cannot remember the specific species of wolf. I'm a little sad. I liked the African wild dogs; those were cute. I liked the aardvarks; those were cute. I liked the Fomorian bear, Asian bear. That was cute. Everything in this game is cute. There's no not cute. It's all cute. I thought the buffaloes were cute. I had an Asian crocodile. That was cute. The animals in this game are aesthetically pleasing. They look almost like real animals, and if they have fluff on them, they are so fluffy.
Is it so fluffy you're gonna die?
Yes, there are, as I said, a lot of animals. The career mode will give you zoos that start with some animals. So like, you had to like rescue this zoo. This one manager completely ruined for you. That had some interesting animals that I probably wouldn't have tried without being in that. But with the DLC, you can probably get whatever animal you're interested in. The base game has a lot of animals, but Earth has 6.5 million species of animals. There's only so much they can do. So if your favorite isn't there, I apologize. The lack of
Mm-hmm.
marine and aquatic animals kind of is a real bummer.
Yeah, I mean, you don't normally see, because a SeaWorld's like a separate entity than a standard zoo.
But a lot of zoos have like penguins, and a lot of zoos have
And fish,
aquariums like
yeah.
fish. There are no fish in the game that I saw, and I
That'll be another expansion, I bet.
don't think there were penguins. I could be wrong. I did not see penguins.
What about otters?
I want to say there were otters. I don't know if they were in the base game or an expansion, but
Beavers?
I don't know about beavers. Beavers would be cool if they chewed down your trees. That'd be hilarious.
That would be cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess my only other comment would be if this game had controller support, maybe that would have helped me get more into it. But because of what it is, you have to have the keyboard. There's just too much to get into, which again is kind of why I was overwhelmed. It does have Steam controller support, but I didn't get around to trying that with my Steam controller.
Yeah. Going off past Steam controller experience, I imagine it works pretty well. But neither of us tried it. Our Steam controller has been dead for 2 years now.
I don't even know it still works. I plugged it in and my computer recognized it, but that's about as far as I got with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bad. I should have tried this harder, but I couldn't. It's boring to me. No offense to y'all out there who like sim games. I just can't get into them.
It's a great. This is. I liked Planet Coaster when it came out. What, 5 years ago now? It's been out for a
Yeah.
while. Planet Coaster was great. This is everything Planet Coaster had and so much more, minus, of course, the amusement rides. But you could do so much, and the fact that the animals can interact with what you're doing is great.
Like I like just watching the animals, but that's only so long that's going to keep me entertained for. And the camera was kind of hard to control. You didn't mention the camera glitching when you were playing.
Oh, because I forgot, because it only happened a few times.
And then the game crashed when you tried it.
Yeah. I did experience a few glitches while playing, which is a little strange because this game's at least a year old, 2 years old now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I had the camera glitch if I was trying to rotate it and I press right mouse button and a WASD key. It would like completely glitch the camera out, and that was bad. I had the game. If I ran the game for extended period of time, it seemed like there was a memory leak somewhere, and it would slowly grind to a halt. So I'd have to restart to get it running again. That's something I would have expected to be fixed by now. I don't know if it's my hardware or something, but this game does require kind of a beefy computer to play.
I expect that with the way it looks and how it handles, to
But
be honest.
yeah, if you have the hardware to run it, it looks amazing. And it lets you zoom. Aardvarks are only, what, 2.5 feet long or something, counting the tail.
Yeah.
And you could zoom so that the aardvark took up the whole screen. And I had a baby aardvark, and I was like squealing with delight. And it took
I
up the whole
cannot
screen
confirm.
and was like wandering around. And then it found its little play ball in the exhibit, and it was pushing the ball around. Yeah, this game's adorable.
All right. Well, any other comments?
Go buy this game. Go buy the DLC if it goes on sale. Probably. I'll
Yeah,
probably
the
buy
DLC
the
prices
DLC.
weren't bad. They looked, it was like $10, $15.
Yeah,
That's not bad for expansions.
the same they had for Planet Coaster too, which each DLC added like uh, several things. I can look that up right now because I'm not positive what they added.
And the base game is like 40, $50.
Yes, I bought this on sale because I usually wait for my games to go on sale, but it's $45 normally, or $55 with the deluxe pack, which included a few things like pygmy hippopotamus, Thompson's
Cute.
gazelle, Komodo dragon.
Cute. Yeah, so cute. Komodo dragons,
Um,
so cute. They kill you. I bet they be escaping and biting people.
yeah, it has DLC for Australia, which adds koalas, dingoes, kangaroos, cassowaries, lizards, and 230 new scenery objects, and a new challenge zoo. I believe it's similar content for the South America and Arctic packs as well.
And those, because you saw something from Machu Picchu, it appears that South America gives you a more terrained area. So if you want more terrain, get the expansions, possibly.
It doesn't mention in the description.
Yeah, I honestly think if I were to get into this again, I might just go on like the franchise mode and just like hop on somebody else's zoo for a bit and just like explore, and that'd probably be as much as I would do in this game. Or sandbox maybe.
I'm looking at the Arctic pack. It does not add penguins, so that's gonna be a thumbs down for me. Don't buy
No
the Arctic pack.
penguins, no bueno.
Just kidding. It has polar bears and reindeer, so it's kind of worth it.
Polar bears are worth it.
Again, so to sum it up, great game. Wish it had aquatics and more bird species. It only has a few, but outside of that,
Yeah, burbs can make people money if you
highly
have one of those like little
recommend.
feeding areas. Is that something you can put in the game? Dedicated feeding areas for people, or if they interact with animals, they get hurt.
You can add guest interactions with the animals. I did not, but you can add a guest entrance to an exhibit, and the guests can go up and interact with animals. It says in the Zoopedia. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. The info in the Zoopedia
Well, I
is
talked about that. I
insane.
thought the information was accurate, and I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
so much info is available. So it'll tell you whether or not an animal is safe to have around people, and if they are safe, you can add the guest entrance to the exhibit so they can go up and say hi. You could also do that for a lion if you are that kind of person. It doesn't stop you. So, Jess, what do you think is similar to Planet Zoo?
You mean what I recommend?
What would you recommend for other
So I'm
titles?
just gonna pull other titles that this developer Frontiers made, because I can't give my actual opinion on Sims because I've not played them. But I would say if you like this title or looking for somewhere similar to it, Frontier has also made Jurassic World Evolution. This may be my gateway into simulators because I'm obsessed with Jurassic Park and Jurassic World.
Jurassic World Evolution is, I'm pretty sure, the same engine. It has
Yeah,
a lot of the same
it
mechanics.
came out around about the same time. I read up a little bit on it. I was convinced you could control the dinosaurs at some point. I guess you can't. At least I didn't
Uh,
see that
you
anywhere in
can
the
drive the Jeeps,
Wikipedia.
though.
Yeah, you can do the retrieving the loose dinos and stuff and herding whatnot with the Jeep. So that's kind of cool. So that might be my gateway into it. So yeah, Jurassic World Evolution. They also did Connectables, as Matt mentioned. So I would say if you still happen to have an Xbox 360 and a Kinect, and you have kids under 10, it's a sim game in the way that you have a pet lion, tiger, or bear.
Oh my!
Oh
Cinnamon,
my.
no!
I love the game. I mean, I had a Connect and I was like stupid. I played all those Connect games, but it was like a super cute game. The cubs do look very realistic and fluffy. I can see where they got the people who made everything look really realistic in this game just because they look so good in Connectimals. So yeah, I would say if you want something more appropriate for your kids that's not a sim, kids under 10 would probably like Connectimals. It was pretty fun. Also, I would kind of like to try Parkosaurus because again, dinosaurs. I can get into dinosaurs and it's a little bit cuter looking and it might be less complex in depth. So I might try that one. So check that out too. What do you think, Matt?
So, similar to this, obviously, I have to mention Planet Coaster. You can see that this is a spiritual successor in so many forms, and if you like amusement parks, Planet Coaster does a great job. And it has so much DLC at this point that you can find whatever it is you're looking for. I would also suggest Mega Aquarium. It's a game I've been meaning to get for a long time, and I complained about the lack of aquatics in Planet Zoo. Well, Mega Aquarium is just about aquatics, and it's not as freeform, but it is as in depth and accurate. If you like these style of games, but you want something on a grander scale, I highly suggest Cities Skylines, where you build a whole city and you can put a tiny little zoo in your city instead of building the zoo up from scratch. But it's a lot of the same premise, pathing, for roadways and managing money and all that kind of stuff. It's good for these overarching strategy type simulations.
All right.
Take us out, Jess.
Do you have to put the animals down in the game?
Um, I yes.
Oh God. Oh no. Well, yeah, maybe that's something to consider if you're giving it to your kid that you may have to put animals down. So
It
keep it
doesn't
above 10.
shy away from the fact that animals die, and sometimes animals die from unnatural causes like
Oh
disease and
God.
injury, and that is something you have to deal with managing a zoo. So it might be a little too real for the real younger audience.
Yeah. Again, it's rated E10, so keep that in mind. If you don't want to talk to your kid about putting a
Yeah.
big kitty down.
If the kid's favorite cat gets Ebola and dies, well, guess what?
It's not coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I'm depressed. Personal rating. Not a bad game, but not for me. If you're not a big fan of simulators, you probably wouldn't want to play this either. But if you are a big fan of simulators, you probably want to play this. Matt?
Buy this game right now.
This is what we expected, folks, right?
Just buy it and play it and send me pictures of your animals.
Share
The
Zoo with
fluffier
Matt.
the animal, the better. You can share it to us on our Facebook. If you want to add me as a Steam friend, you can join our Discord from our Facebook page. Jess, what's your Facebook?
Find us on Facebook via Family Fun Force. Join our group, Family of Fun Force Pod Group, and find us at Twitter at.
At ForcePod.
And we have a Discord. I shared a link earlier this month. If anybody wants another link, let me know.
You can email us.
Yeah, email us at
familyfunforcepod@gmail.com.
So by the time this gets published, we would have already kind of wrapped up technically when we first started recording this, which was September. But since the first episode was out until January, we still got some time till our 1 year anniversary. I would have liked to see us double our followers on Facebook, but we didn't, and that's okay. But still, share us with your friends, family, coworkers. More visibility we get, the more likely we can get on posting more episodes. I've been streaming Twitch Sings on my Twitch account if anybody wants to listen to that. But Twitch Sings is dead by the end of this year, so after that I will not be doing it. So limited access on that, y'all.
Yeah, we've been trying to stream. We haven't done it much this month, but
We've all been sick. Our kid's sick. I've been on and off sick. It's been hard for me to do anything except sleep, so I'm sorry. All right. Anything else, Matt?
review us, please.
Yeah, give us a review, please. We prefer 5 stars, but, we'll take anything at this point. I'm still guessing we still haven't had any reviews yet.
No, not that I can
Okay, well, that's sad. All right, please, pretty please, cherry on top, give us a review. Okay. Next title.
Our next title is Try Not to Starve.
It's Don't Starve Together.
That one.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.
Boop.
You could also do that for a lion if you are that kind of person. It doesn't stop you.
Tiger King. That's right, y'all. I brought a Tiger King reference into this.
Well, first of all, the best Kinect game is that Star Wars one.
Okay, I'm not arguing that the Kinect Star Wars game isn't the best Kinect game because dancing as Boba Fett or a Stormtrooper was like the best. But continue. Pulls out a gun.
I was going to say with a gun, please. Not have to cut all that.
Loads
Wonderful.
the shells. Matt, what's your Steam name? You could tell him your Steam name.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, all right.
Cinnamon, no!